Men to men, who do you call when you're at your lowest?
No one. I sometimes write messages which I don't send. Seems unfair to drag people down with me when I have no idea how I will climb back up or if they could help me at all.
No one to call. Drink glass of water, eat something, sleep couple hours. Then just keep going. That's it.
I've been at my lowest for 2 years. There's no one to call. They can't help.
Nobody's coming to.
No was thinking about this and I don't think I've been happy, actually actively happy, for about 20 years or more. Not to say I'm specifically unhappy, just more of the same.
Grandma for some reason always has the answers.
The gym.
When I was at my lowest, the answer was no one. Many, as is clearly shown here, have to figure it out themselves. Which is a have a terrible you show weakness. You are a bad took me years to find out that surrounding yourself with people who don't care about that stigma matters the most. But even then, there I would like to say, when I'm down now, I talk to my wife, but that's only to a point as if I pour myself completely it stresses her, which then makes it worse for me. I can talk to friends about other things, but even then, there is some things, you just have to work through it yourself or get therapy, which is perfectly fine.
It involved my wife, no one, but I might open a word processor and vent it out. Then delete just about anything else. It's my wife. Though, that usually involves throwing a cushion at her feet, kneeling before her, crying in her lap whether she's in her wheelchair or recliner.
Go with ignoring the problem exists until I can better process it.
My mom.
No one, because everyone either doesn't care or is too busy. I just suppress it until the next spelling.
My cat.
Nobody. I'm suffering pretty hard right now. Barely able to keep it together at work.
Jim Beam. First person I talk to is my wife. 100% of the is family, sister and then parents.
I have no one to call. At 53 you it up and move on. I was brought up and taught that you just keep trucking.
Well, I can always talk to my friends, but being dudes the most they can offer go grab a beer? Nothing wrong with it, au contraire, however there are times in which you just want to vent and there's nobody to do so.
No one. Don't need anyone getting involved in my mess and also can't bear to be sharing something vulnerable to anyone. They'll use it against you when they have the chance.
Ghostbusters.
My brother. Both times I was at a low I called my brother.
My best friend. She's always there for me. I love to tell her my problems because she is always so understanding. It's been 3 months of friendship. I have no doubt she is a real friend.
I talk to the man in the mirror. The man in the mirror is me 5 years from now. He often asks me if I think it'll affect him. If not, then don't worry. If it's going to affect him, aka me 5 years from now. Then he gives me advice on how to get through the maze. You know those cereal box mazes that have a bunch of dead ends? If you work from the finish back to the start, there might even be a few routes, but either of them will get you to where you are. Reverse engineer your entire life. You'll make biggest idol and role model is me 5 years from now. That dude is pretty successful and can teach me a lot. I'm sure he can teach you lots too.
I used to call my sister, but honestly she genuinely would get dragged down and on one occasion threw my vulnerability back into my face, so I rarely do now. People say it doesn't drag them down and I'm sure for many it doesn't, but you never know it seems.
My answer was the top answer. That makes me sad, but it is what it is. There is no one, no family, no friends, not my wife, no one. We handle our own needs because there's no other choice.
This pretty much hits the nail on the head for don't want to drag anyone into my mess if I don't even know how I'll get out of puts more pressure on those around me. And being the one people normally talk to about their issues, I know it can be hard to hear those you care about are struggling, and I don't want to put that weight on there rather they be happy and share in their happiness once in a while than drag them down.
Brew, you're not dragging anyone down. If there's any half-decent person in your life I promise they'll at least listen. Sometimes it's definitely hard to help BC you don't know what to do specifically but they'll at least be willing to listen. It's all about just having a bit of support. Going from no support to even just 5% support could make all the difference.
Great answer, especially when living alone. Sleeping is vital to get back to a clearer mindset.
I hope it will get better for you. Don't give up hopes.
You've accepted step 1 to a better 2. Acknowledging you, and only you, can help yourself, and instead of feeling sad and hopeless about that harsh truth, find the beauty and the possibilities in it. Change your perspective, and start building yourself up. You can do it, I believe in you. But it's true, you have to do it hard to accept. But when people ask me what I've learned during 6 years of intensive therapy, this is my answer. I've learned that and only I can help myself. Which was a harsh and cold realization. But once I settled with it, I started helping myself. Since I accepted that no one would rescue me, I had to do it, and the realization that if I wouldn't step up my game, no one would do it for me, made me get enough willpower to actually step up my is probably not what you want to hear. Know that I wish nothing but the best for you, even if I don't know you.
And everyone gets all pissy that you didn't tell them you were suicidal. If I had a nickel for how many times I've heard. I'd rather be upset and know than not, coming from the same people who say, solve your own problems.
This hits close to home. I have a good life. Had kids really young. In my 40s now, kids are all in their late teens, early 20s. I have a loving wife. Good job. I just don't know how to be happy. I'm not depressed or just every day is like the last and tomorrow will be the same.
Same here. My grandma raised me, but now she just turned 90 last month and is hard of hearing and getting to where it's not so easy to hold a conversation. Cherish the time you have, friend.
Yes, she does. She was always my #1 call before she passed last April, and I'm still devastated. Cherish those conversations, the support, and the love.
Sometimes the heaviest things we lift is our feels.
We heard you, bro. Come lift with us. Flexed biceps, light skin tone.
I'm going to get a membership in April. Terrified because of all the horrible people I see on social media, but it's time. I won't make another excuse not to go. I have a lot of weight to lose, and while I'm eating correctly now, I want to feel stronger and better. I may just start buying things to slowly build up a home gym while I go, but go I will.
I just about had the same answer to this as you. It is sad that we feel we're so out of other options.
Man, I wish I had one more call with her. I have so much more to ask her.
Good ol' Uncle Jack is good listener.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yup. Fear of accidentally trauma dumping. And then there's the fact that they say they want to see you be vulnerable and genuinely mean it, but a lot of the time don't actually expect it.
I'm at that point in my life where sometimes sleeping feels like a save current game and fast forward time. Literally, I'll be too bored to do something and go to bed or take a nap to time travel to a later moment, hoping things would have changed by then.
The gym is a sanctuary. You will find a lot of people who will help you if you only ask. Best of luck, brother, and I'm rooting for you.
I feel you, man. I would talk to my mom for hours and get everything off my chest. I felt heard and like somebody cared. She died a year ago, and I will likely never feel like that again.
Dude, I hope you don't end it. Not having friends is one of the biggest, along with not exercising and not eating or sleeping well. The problem is in the US we are at a sense of community and being easy to be friends with. I am just leaving a trip from Mexico where everyone was welcoming to me and I was happier. Maybe you need a change.
I'm in Canada, but same difference really. If anything, it's more isolating because we're 1/10 the population, but way bigger than 1/10 the size of the US. A change, probably, but change what? Changing location, either permanently, moving, or temporarily, vacation, comes with a host of problems I don't have a good way to deal with. I don't make enough to move out of my parents' house into any housing nearby to where I work. I can't WFH. I don't have the skills to get a job that pays even the same as what I make now, let alone more, and I can't afford to go on a vacation anywhere that isn't within driving distance, and even then not really. It's funny though, because I don't really do any of the 3 other things you listed, either. I have sleep apnea, but don't use my mask because I can't fall asleep otherwise. I don't exercise because when I do I feel worse and have even less energy than my normal, minimal, amount, and I eat my feelings, so I'm obese as a result.
Your username doesn't check out at all. Please feel free to DM if you ever want to share something. I really think if you can do some physical activity which doesn't tire you out, like exercise, may benefit you. Let's say you can't do the high-intensity cardiovascular exercises or runs. Just do stretching or maybe yoga. I have heard so much on how much yoga rejuvenates people. Also try positive affirmations. IDK how much they work, but there's a strong community which believes in its power and manifestation. I know you are trying your best. There's probably a time crunch too, and you may have already tried these things, but just in case you feel like, give it a shot. Sum up. Whenever you do positive affirmations, 3 minutes breathing exercise. Rub your hands to warm them and touch your eyes when they are closed and try to start day with some positivity. I know things but you are alive and living. I'm going to tell you something horrible. I know you think that a lot of your friends and other people are getting dragged down by but there would be some people, not your well-wishers, who actually like to hear your sad stories cause it makes them feel better about themselves. IDK what kind of motivation works for you, but if negative motivation works, then make something incredible of yourself by upskilling and earning more etc. to get revenge on those people.